Welcome back to another episode of Packing Up and Piecing Out, the podcast where two American girls spill the tea on what it really takes to move abroad. I'm Lily, an American in London, and this is
Taylor, an American in Prague. If I sound different, I am sick this week, but I gathered all of my will and strength to record an episode for you guys. And if you are watching on YouTube, I'm very ugly as well, so please excuse that. But today's episode is going to be all about using social media the right way when you move abroad and how you can use it to make friends, to build your network and community. I feel like the two of us, especially being content creators, have so much experience in this. So I think this is going to be a good episode, and we have a exciting announcement as well at the end. But sometimes social media can feel like such a trap. I feel like I kind of was able to bypass this with moving abroad, but I felt this a lot when I was younger in college, just comparing my life to others. But I feel like with moving abroad, I could so see how someone could feel that comparison and think, oh, my life hasn't progressed enough compared to these other people who have moved abroad, or even compared to people who have stayed home and stayed rooted in one place. So we're going to talk about how you can use social media intentionally, avoiding that comparison, to really build a meaningful life offline in your new home.
yes, it's important to remember that social media was invented for socialization. Well, it was invented to like rank girls according to Mark Zuckerberg's preferences, I'm pretty
It's
sure.
insane.
But it was but it's also to make friends, be a place to connect. And I just think that we've lost that. Like, remember in middle school and high school when you would just go on Facebook and post on your friends' profiles, and it was like, truth is, you're the best. And it was like kind of positive because, first of all, it wasn't on our phones. So you could only do it at
Hmm.
home on an actual computer. So there was very much a detachment. Like, I really wish we could go back to the early days of like Facebook and only have that. I think even though obviously we're both content creators, I see the value in it. But also some days I'm like, this is terrible, the amount that we consume. It really should just be a place to connect with people. And like it's nice that you can connect with anyone in the world, like especially when you're thinking about moving abroad, you can like see what people in your future city are doing. But also like it's a reminder that you should be using it to actually make real connections, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's not even our fault. These algorithms were built to push addiction of social
Hmm.
media. There's some lawsuit going on right now, actually, that is about social media networks
Hmm.
like being built. I don't know, it was on the New York Times weekly quiz. I got the question wrong, but it was about how social media platforms were built to be addictive. And, these algorithms are pushing us so much negative content that it's like, I feel like we often blame ourselves, like, oh, there's something wrong with me because I can't stop doom scrolling or I can't stop
Hmm.
comparing myself. But it's actually not our fault. It's like they're made to be this way and for us to feel bad and to be addicted. And so here we want to have a conversation about, yeah, how to reframe that. And the bad's never gonna go away. But I feel like if you can focus on taking the good and making it offline in your real
Hmm.
life, that's really how social media can be so impactful for sure. Speaking of truth is, did you have like rate or date? It was so savage.
I don't think that we did that.
It was so savage. In my school, you'd be like for a rate or date. And I remember posting on boys' profiles, like, rate 6, date, nah, haha. Like, it was so evil in a way. Like, I wasn't even trying to be mean then, but it's like you're
Hmm.
rating someone like a 6. But I mean, I had it happen to me too. Like, boys posting, like, yeah, like, rating 7, date, no, haha, just friends. Like, so cringy
Wow,
to think
throwback.
about
I
doing
mean,
that.
I still get the notifications on Facebook that'll be like 13 years ago today, and it's I someone posted on my profile whatever trend is going on at the
So
time,
embarrassing.
and then I'll scroll
Truth
back and
is,
I'll see the photos that did you used to do where your friends would huddle around the one computer
oh
in
yeah,
your
yeah, and go
and
on
do
photo booth.
the photo booths, and then we would post them all like an
Like
entire album
hundreds,
of
hundreds in one sitting. Yeah,
hundreds, and the way
all the
that we now
time.
curate it to be 5 photos of like the last year, and it used to be 2,000 photos for one photo booth
Right, and
session with your friends.
I also feel like over time it's become like, oh, don't post this photo of me, delete this photo. But back then, like, you
Yeah.
didn't have a choice because there was 300 photos. You couldn't go through your friends'
Yeah.
album and select which ones you wanted deleted. So you just had to accept it, like that you look how you look and you're going to be on
Yeah.
the internet how you are. So yeah, I do miss that. I miss that time too.
For sure. Should we get into the topic or do you have any updates? It seems like no, because you've been a bit ill.
Yeah, no, no, just wanting to promote our previous episode that we talked about getting sick
Oh,
abroad
yeah.
because I feel like a lot of the tips that we said then were really useful, and I should have listened to us and stocked up on my local medicine because I
Right.
hadn't done that.
Oh, you have, and you've been in the US a bunch lately, so you have no excuse.
Yeah, no, I just am not stocked up well on either local medicine or medicine from home, honestly. So Mark
Mm-hmm.
had to make a pharmacy run, but thankfully, living in a city, they're always close by. So yeah, no, I
Yeah.
have no other updates, really. But I know you're going on a trip this weekend. So do you want to talk briefly about that?
Yes, I'm going to Chamonix, which is a French kind of small city slash town in the Alps. So yeah, I'm flying to Geneva, which is kind of the nearest airport in Switzerland, and then taking a bus to Chamonix and going skiing. So I'm meeting Line Bites there. He's currently been there already for like 5 days doing this big skiing trip with this group. And it's going to be my first time skiing in 10 years. So I'm scared for my life. I'm scared for my Achilles, for my ACL, for all those things that normally get injured. But everyone has been telling me that it's muscle memory. It's like riding a bike. I did grow up skiing. I skied every year growing up, but then I just stopped at 16 because I was never that good of a skier. And I was never that, wow, this is the whitest shit I've ever said. I was never that good of a skier. And I just decided it wasn't for me. So I haven't skied in a long time. And yeah, I just figured I've always wanted to go to the Alps. It's kind of a bucket list trip of mine
So pretty.
to ski. And have you done it?
I went to Grindelwald in the Swiss Alps. I don't
Hmm.
ski, but it was really good place for non-skiers. They had a lot of sledding, and these sledding courses were insane. Like they lasted for like 20 minutes. Like they were intense. So, yeah, if you don't feel
I
like
love
skiing, you
sledding.
could always do that. Yeah, it was really
Honestly,
fun.
we'll
But
see.
no,
But
I'm
yeah,
sure
I'm
you'll be
gonna.
fine. I've never skied, so I can't say, but I also
Okay.
hear that it's like riding a bike, so I'm sure you'll get
I
back into
think
it.
the people that have the most issues would be someone like you that tries it for the first time in like their late 20s. So I'm hoping I pick it back up. I mean, I'm an Oregonian. It should be in my blood. Like I grew up with literally a ski cabin. We would go every year, but yeah, so going to be skiing from Friday to Monday, just a quick weekend trip, taking advantage of the whole, European weekend trip
Hmm.
thing, which honestly I love them, but they're really exhausting. I'm prepared to come back and be like absolutely wiped.
Yeah, I've canceled like all my plans for this weekend just so I can. Hopefully, I'll be
Recover.
better, but just like now, I'm so behind on everything, so I just need to like
Yeah,
get back
catch
onto
up.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get into the topic about using social media to make friends and build a network when you move abroad. Let's cover kind of how each of us have approached it. Taylor, how have you used it to make friends? Because I know, I mean, you've said multiple times on this podcast that a lot of your friends in Prague are from social media. So,
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Most of my friends that I've made in Prague are through social media, and I wasn't necessarily intending for that to happen. Before I started posting Prague content, I just posted more general, like travel content.
yeah,
And
I was there during that time.
yeah, yeah, we were mutuals already during that point, and then once we knew we were moving, I shifted fully into prog content, which
Hmm.
is great to be able to niche down, but I wasn't necessarily going into that thinking that it was going to be a way that I would make friends.
Mm.
But at very first, I used social media to find different groups on Facebook. I've talked a little about my experience with those, which has been a little bit mixed, but I think anything that you try, any sort of group, like you're not going to have a perfect success rate and come out with a bunch of friends every time.
Mm-mm.
I also followed so many different accounts, both local like Czech influencers and a lot of Czech influencers that I follow like throw in a lot of English words and terms, even though their content is in Czech. But that's also
Hmm.
helped just with like my Czech learning. I also followed as many other like American in Prague creators or just foreigners
Hmm.
in Prague as I could. Really, I just like followed hundreds of accounts on Instagram to stay updated on like events. I subscribe to newsletters. That's not really social
Hmm.
media, but I found out through the newsletter about the newsletters through social media.
Hmm.
But really, most of my friends came from people messaging me on Instagram, mostly Instagram, less TikTok. TikTok, I like never see my message requests. I don't know why. I just check Instagram a lot more. I feel like maybe TikTok is your primary platform, while mine is more Instagram. Would you say that?
Sort of, but I think it's just because I feel more not unhinged. What's the word? Like I don't have to filter myself as much on TikTok because Instagram, like you kind of have to do your posts a certain way for them to do well, I think. Like
Yeah.
it's much more curated. That's the
For
word.
sure. Like I posted a video today talking about sickness culture in America versus Europe,
Hmm.
and it's like the video. It was just like a rant. Like I looked like shit. So it's like that's on TikTok, but not on Instagram because on
Yeah,
Instagram that's probably not going to do well because I look like ass. I'm just like saying random shit. But TikTok, like it's so much better for that kind of
that's
stuff.
it. For me, the videos I think that do best and that people like seem to connect with the most are ones where it's just me talking to camera. It's not like long voiceovers or really curated things that take me a long time to edit, which like is sort of nice because I can just throw them on. But Instagram hates those videos. They don't
Yeah.
really have a place, so that's the only reason why.
Yeah. I
Otherwise.
feel like Instagram does take away the personality aspect in that way, but I
Hmm.
think that I've always loved like sharing updates throughout the day. So I'm really active on my stories and I feel like I
Yeah.
put a lot of personality on there. And so
Hmm.
most people who have messaged me, I have one friend, Danny, who's also a content creator, but she makes
Hmm.
content more to promote her Czech teaching business. So
Hmm.
we connected, like we were mutuals, but most of my other friends, like, just either DM'd me
Yeah, they
or
reached
I
out to
mutually
you.
followed back.
Hmm.
And the reason that I share like so much too, and the reason I feel comfortable also meeting up with certain people is because I share like my political and moral and ethical beliefs like often. And we've talked about this in previous episodes, but I feel really strongly about making friends who are aligned with me morally.
Hmm.
So, you know, obviously that's going to look a little different when you're making friends in a different country because they're not coming
Hmm.
from America. So they're not a Republican or a Democrat. But, you know, there's like still moral things that you can agree on in terms of
Hmm.
human rights and things like that. So that's why I'm like really open about it. I remember at first my mom's like, why share political things? Like, you're just going to piss some of your Czech followers off because not all of
Hmm.
them are liberal. And it's true that a lot of Czech people, especially outside of Prague, are conservative, but
Hmm.
I. I don't care. Like, I'd rather share what I think and what I believe
Hmm.
in than be scared of isolating people. Like, if people don't agree with my morals, then they shouldn't follow me anyway. So, yeah,
Hmm.
I feel like that's helped me find friends that like connect with me in that way.
Well,
So,
that boils down to like you are yourself on there.
yeah.
You're not putting up a front, you're not filtering it too much, which helps you actually find people. Because if I see someone posting on Instagram, like, oh, I think that they'd be cool, I should reach out to them. I hope that it's because they've been being themselves and that they're not like putting up a front. And so that when I meet them in real life, like obviously they're not going to be the exact same person. If they are
Mhm.
online, it's impossible. There's just like 1 minute videos that you're looking
Yeah.
at, but that overall you're like, oh, that lines up with who they are in real life. It makes sense that they, post about this and do it this way.
Yeah,
So
that's such a
that's a good
good
point.
point. And I guess I never thought about I never approached social media differently, I guess. Like I don't know, I never was for the curated aesthetic feed because that's not who I am as a person and I just feel like I'm just like a normal girl and I'm just going to post like normal stuff. And I feel like that does connect with people the most. And it's the best compliment when people talk about my content and say about how real it is and about
Mm,
how it's so authentic because I really just am me, like not
yeah.
to toot my own horn and be like, I'm so authentic, but like I really just like am my total self. And yeah, no one can be their 100% self, but I also do try to share about the low points of life. And also that's something that I also loved about your videos, Lily, like talking about grief especially. I feel like that's why we connected so
Mm,
early on when we were mutuals, because you were willing to talk about that sort of stuff, and I just
mm,
always been attracted to that, like in
mm.
content. So I think because I put the same energy out there, that's sort of how I've attracted similar like-minded friends, sort of how we became podcast co-hosts.
True. Yeah. So I mean, I guess for me as well about making friends from social media, I don't think I've done it to the same amount you have. And I think partially is because I don't live in a city like Prague. Like it's Prague is so much smaller than
Yeah.
London. And I wouldn't consider myself a London content creator. I consider myself like a move abroad just because to be a London content creator to me feels very overwhelming. Like
It's
there's
so
too
competitive. There's so many of them.
Yeah, if I was still living in Valencia, like back in Spain where I first lived, I think I probably would lean more into the Valencia content. But London, it's like it's so competitive. The London content girls they're doing it. Like they
Yeah.
are top tier Oscar winning performances they're putting on in those edits, which good for them, but it's not beyond my abilities, it's beyond my desire to do. So when I have met people from social media before, which I have in Spain and Australia, it's been people like DMing me randomly and be like, "Hey, I live here too. I think maybe we'd get along. Would you be interested in a coffee?" Um, so maybe let's talk about like best practices when it comes to reaching out to people, because as you've mentioned, follow a bunch of people. If it seems like you connect with them, I don't see anything wrong with reaching out. What do you think? And I think you should reach out. That's like literally what we're recommending. You're going on social media to meet people. You see someone like Taylor, you're living in Prague. You're like, oh, Taylor seems cool. I just moved here. I'm trying to meet people. What is the message or the approach you think someone should send?
Yeah, this is such a good question because I definitely have gotten a lot of DMs where instantly I feel like it's not going to be the right connection. And it is so based on how the person approaches it. And it is true that you also need to know, and this is the same like for me, like if I message someone on social media, I don't have an expectation that they're going to respond.
Mm-mm-mm.
Even if I have, X amount of followers, like people don't have a obligation to respond to you or to
Mm-mm.
meet up with you. So people need to remember that.
True.
But
Social media has made it seem like everyone is your friend. It's created this like parasocial relationship between people and strangers. So,
yeah,
yeah, tip number one, never expect a response and never get mad at someone for not responding, for
yeah,
sure.
it's hard though because like from the creator side, I feel like I I share so much of myself in my real life that people are going to feel that parasocial relationship with me, and they're going to be like, oh, Taylor could be my best friend, like we're so alike in XYZ way. And
Uh-huh.
I that's what I want as a creator, but then it makes me
Yeah,
feel this guilt of like
uncomfortable.
I can't meet up with everyone. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
not everyone is going to be like the best fit. Also sometimes like it's too big of an age gap. If I know that they're still like in their early 20s, I feel like
Hmm.
the age gap is just too big. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what you should do and what you shouldn't do
Hmm.
in messages. So I think also remember that if they don't follow you back, it's going to go in message requests. So they might never see
Yeah.
it, or they might take like a couple weeks to respond, because I usually check my requests or like go through them and respond to them like once every week or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So it might take a little
for
bit. So
sure.
don't be offended by that. Okay.
Hmm.
I say keep it short and specific. You should reference something concrete in their post rather than just saying, oh, we're both foreigners in Prague.
Hmm.
I feel like when someone's like, oh, I saw that you went to Japan. I'm planning a trip there.
Great
Maybe we
example.
could
Uh-huh.
meet up for a coffee and like talk about it and
Hmm.
just like get to know each other. I feel like when I see that there's something specific about my life that they've mentioned and that we can connect on, that makes me
Hmm.
more open to wanting to meet up. I feel like what you need to avoid is just any like sounding of desperation. Like I've gotten a few messages
So
where it's
true.
like, and I feel bad, but I've gotten a few messages where people have been like, I've struggled making friends. So could we please meet up for a coffee? Or I have no friends. So could we please meet up? Like I'm not going to be your pity friend. And also like it's going to give me a little bit of a red flag a little bit that you say you've not made any friends. I know it's
Hmm.
hard to make friends, but I feel like approaching someone and saying like I have no friends, please be my friend is just not a good way to have like a mutually like respectful relationship. It just like isn't starting it off on the right foot. Have you got any messages like that?
Well, yes, definitely. And okay, a few things about that. I one time when I was living in Spain, I'll share a story. I met this girl, not even through social media, just like through random happenstance. And she seemed lovely at first, honestly, totally fine at first. And she immediately made it clear that she had been having a really hard time making friends, which totally fine. But then I felt like I kind of made her my pity friend. I'm not gonna lie. I
Mm-hmm.
did make her my pity friend. I was like, oh, I totally get it. I'll invite you to everything. I think I even said, like, this is so dumb on my part. I was 22 at the time or whatever, 23. And I made her my pity friend. Trust me, that never works out. And I think maybe if she hadn't made it so clear that making friends was difficult for her and she
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a clear friend group or, community there yet, like maybe we would have had a better chance. But I felt so much like I guess pity. Yeah, the word is pity towards her. And I don't think that's a good foot to start off on. Now, can it be true that you have no friends in the city? Absolutely. Maybe you
Yes.
just moved there. Maybe you're working remotely. Maybe you just have met up with a bunch of people and it hasn't worked out yet. Totally fine. I'm not shaming anyone for that. Do
Same.
not tell anyone
Yeah.
that you meet that the first thing you say is I have no friends and I'm really looking for friends. That's desperate. Like imagine if you went on a first date with a guy and he's like no woman has ever liked me. Like
Yeah.
imagine
You're
that
like
you would
wonder
run for the
why.
hills.
Like, yeah, you're like, why? And yeah, like, again, I don't want to judge someone because there could be circumstances that are out of their control that they
Hmm.
don't have friends. But then again, it does give you that red flag of like when any girl has no friends or loses all her friends, oftentimes it's because of her own behavior. Like, that is just true. Like, when there's girls of like, oh, I protect my peace. That's why I have no girlfriends. Like, I'm only friends with guys, for
No,
example.
I
Like,
will
that is not,
never trust a
no.
woman that is like, I just get on better with guys. I just have more guy friends.
Yeah, I'm the
Mm-mm.
complete opposite of that. I have no straight male friends and I don't
Hmm.
want any. So, miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah.
um,
So basically, when you're reaching out to someone, do not make it clear that you're desperate for friends. Also, I mean, you mentioned this. Keep it short and specific. One thing that really bothers me that people do in my DMs is they will DM me to ask if they can ask me questions. Does this happen to you?
yeah.
And I'm sorry to these people because they're doing it in a perfectly nice way, and I get it. They're trying to be like extra polite. They're like, "Hey, I see your content. You're doing X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. I really like it. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Just ask me the questions."
Yeah.
And so, I mean, these people, they probably don't even want to be my friend. But if that is like your approach to go in and be like, "Hey, I have some questions about things," once again, keep it specific. Be like, I have a question about this. Like, just cut to the chase because people that you're interested in becoming friends with that have even a small following, you don't know how many messages they're getting. Like, maybe just make it as easy as possible for them to respond, is my stance. It was the same when I was on dating apps. Whenever I would send a first message, to a guy, I would always be like, how can I make this message? I made it so business like. How can I make this message as easy to respond to as possible by giving a concrete thing that they can answer
Sir, yeah.
easily?
And showing that there's like mutual connection
Interest.
between you. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, showing that you both like mentioning something. I've never been on a dating app, so I'm just like
You can
thinking from
imagine, like, if
experience, but
in his
something
profile, if
mutual
there
that you
was
both
like,
like.
yeah, if it's like he had a football team that you like in the profile, you'd be like, oh, I really like them. Like, have you gone to this bar where they play the games at? Like, it could be the same with someone online. Be like, oh, I saw that like to go to pub quizzes. Have you ever been to this pub quiz?
Ooh, yeah, recommending a specific thing to do is also
Hmm.
great because
Then you can invite them.
yeah, invite them, say suggest like going somewhere, some event that's coming up. I feel like that is even better than just going for a coffee because sometimes like the prospect of I have like a mental block sometimes against like wanting to socialize. Like even before I have like a work call, I feel like this horrible sense of impending dread. And even though
Oh
I'm such an
God.
extrovert, Like when I walk to meet up with a new person, I literally feel like jumping off the freaking, I don't even know. I'm like, I can't do this. So going to an
That's
event, I
funny.
feel like takes that pressure off a little bit.
Hmm.
But yeah, I have the same mental block with responding to messages. Like, I know a lot of people are like this, but when I get a message, I cannot respond like immediately. Like, I need to like sit on it and like let it
I
haunt
feel
me
like you're
for like a
pretty
few days.
quick.
Okay, to you, yes, because like I have to respond because like we have work to
Okay, I get
do.
it. If
But
we
like
were just, friends, you'd give me a
chatting,
few days. So because we have this venture together, it's
not even my friends. I feel like it's none of my friends. It's more like Instagram messages and
oh,
that I just
fair.
let like haunt me until the end of time.
Okay, so don't expect a message back from Taylor for the
Don't
next
just
10 business
give
days.
me a few days, especially now that I'm sick. I'm gonna need extra time.
For sure. Okay, but we should talk about, like you mentioned, events. If you
Yeah.
are moving to a new city, obviously your only approach can't be to message content creators. First of all, like
Yes.
most people aren't content creators.
Yeah, that yeah.
We're a very annoying niche of people on the internet. Maybe also like I understand not wanting to be friends with a content creator in some ways. Like I
Oh,
definitely have
100%.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So if that's not your vibe, totally get it. That was probably me a few years ago. Let's talk about finding events that you can go to and recurring things that you have like an opportunity to meet any type of person, not just someone that posts online. Because obviously I would imagine people that post online in our age bracket, it's probably like at most 5% of people. So let's expand the
Yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah, and I so get why someone wouldn't want to be friends with a content creator. Like, of course, I feel like both of us would be or respectful and like I would never
Hmm.
include someone in my videos without like getting their consent first. And
Yeah.
like my friends all are like open to being in my videos, but if someone
Hmm.
wasn't, or like Mark doesn't like to be in my videos that much, so I don't include him that much, and like that's
Yeah.
just what I do. But
I
I think
know.
not
Getting
all
Limebike to
creators.
be in a video is like pulling teeth.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, no,
it's
Mark
something
hates it,
else.
but like honestly,
That's good to hear
I
because
prefer that though because I think if a man is like obsessed with being on camera and wanting to put himself on the
100%.
internet, that's a red
Hmm.
flag in and of itself. So your man not wanting to be in videos, I think is a lot better
It's a
than
green
wanting
flag
to be
for
in
sure.
videos. Yeah. But yeah,
For
let's talk
sure.
about events and then would love to hear about your experience with event planning in London as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, before I ever planned an event, I definitely went to events in Spain and Australia, even when I moved here. And I think how I went about finding them were Instagram, obviously, Facebook groups, honestly, bulletin boards around, like looking,
Yeah,
sometimes there would be bulletin boards at cafes with events
same.
or at your gym with events, like just the obvious places, the local news for like the bigger events. Obviously Instagram like creators that might be hosting them go to those ones. And yeah, as like looking at hashtags for your city, you might find events there. And then obviously in Facebook groups as well. But where have you found events? Is there anywhere I didn't
Yeah, I
cover?
would say basically all the same. I would think most of mine have been through Instagram because I follow so many Prague accounts. And
Hmm.
yeah, I do follow like news accounts, some of them in Czech, but also a lot of them are geared towards foreigners. So they're in English. Or you can also just translate the caption. So then, if
Yeah.
they are posting about some food event in Prague or something else,
Hmm.
you can still know what it's saying. But yeah, I feel like just also when you're in a city, the algorithm pushes out to you content in that city.
Hmm.
So I'm always getting
Yeah.
sponsored posts for like artistic workshops and like so many different things. When I first moved here, I did join a book club, but um, there is also, I think, a difference between like one off events and events that you are kind of committing to being part of a social group. This wasn't one where you like had to attend every time, but I
Hmm.
attended the first three and then it became a lot to like read a book every month because like just to make sure I had it done. Like it's hard in my schedule to make sure, even though I do probably read a book a month,
Hmm.
I like to choose what I
Go at your
read
own
so
pace.
and go at my
Yeah.
own pace. Yeah. So to have
Hmm.
like a deadline, it was getting too hard for me to like be in a group where
Yeah.
consistently I had to go. I loved it, so I'm kind of disappointed I don't keep up with that, but it also got too big that the spots were so limited to go to the meetups
Ah.
that one time I
Uh-huh.
read the book and I wasn't able to go because only 20 people could go to the meetup and there was like
Yeah.
400 people in the group. So I couldn't
Oh
even
my
go.
God.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but that does make a point, and I think when people go to some one-off events, I could see feeling a bit disappointed that you don't make a friend because connecting with someone over the course of max 2 hours at an event of this type
Mm-hmm.
of like art or workout or book club is hard and requires some skill in terms of following up, planning something. It doesn't always happen, but going to a recurring thing makes it so much more likely that you'll meet someone and actually see them again and maybe strike up a conversation. So I really recommend recurring events, like doing a book club or a craft club that happens, or like as I've talked about many times, I do tag rugby. You could even do like go to the same yoga class at the same time of
Mm-hmm.
day every week. I think something like that could be helpful as well. Like showing up to the same place at the same time every week, even if it's not an event, even if it's just like going to the gym or whatever it could be, can be really helpful because like seeing someone again and again just makes it so much more likely.
So true. I've never made a friend from a one-off event. I
Yeah,
actually
have
haven't.
I?
I've like exchanged some WhatsApp details, but it's never turned into anything just from a one-off event. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, gosh, as someone that hosts one-off event, I have thought about this for my events is doing something that's more
Well, don't do you not
like
have some
every
people
month.
that come like consistently, like a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
people?
There's definitely
Yeah.
been people that are like, they come to multiple, but it's not, I've never done something where it's like, we're doing this every month. And I do want
Mm-hmm.
to have something where it's like, we do, I don't know, I've been thinking about this like first Monday of the month craft club or something. So it's much easier to be like, oh, I go every month to this
Yeah.
thing, which
The same
definitely
time,
is a good
the same
same
people
time,
for the most
same
part.
place. For the most part, there's an overlap of people because that can be really helpful. But I do think it's very possible to meet friends at events. It's just some people don't do it right. And that at the end of the event, for example, if you met someone that you think is cool, you have to exchange information then
Yeah.
and send them a message and be like, "Are you doing anything next Thursday? I really wanted to, the same as you were talking about with the DMs, I really wanted to go to this pub quiz. Would you like to come with?" Asking for a concrete thing within the next 2 weeks. And that I think would make it a lot more likely to make a
Yeah,
friend
I
from
think
an event.
events need to have like a sign-in sheet where everyone writes their Instagram or WhatsApp, and so then you can take a
I'm
picture of
actually
it.
doing that for my
Real,
event at
yeah,
because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have that and be like, only put it here if you want it to be public, but I'm gonna
yeah,
take
and
a picture of
can be
it and
distributed
put
to
it
the
in the
group.
group chat after so anyone can, reach out
Follow
to
each
you.
other. Yeah, I think that's such a good
Hmm.
idea because the other events, it's not that I wouldn't have been friends with people that I met. It's like we didn't, I guess, like instantly have such a strong connection that we're like, we need to exchange details. And then
Yeah.
after those 2 hours, the opportunity was gone forever and I never saw them again. So
Well, do you feel like the friends that you've made in Prague, did you, or just in your life generally, and I don't even know if I would remember this enough to say, but did you feel like when you first met them, you're like, we're gonna be friends? Did you feel an initial spark? It's almost like with dating, or was it something you were like, oh, they were cool, and then it grew over time?
honestly, I think I'm an initial spark kind of person. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that I have such a strong personality and I have such a, what's the word when you can like sense other people really well? Like you can, I don't know. I don't know what the
I
word
mean,
is, but
not
I,
judge, but sort of like read. You can read someone
yeah,
well.
I feel like I can read
Hmm.
people really well. And
Mm,
not that if I didn't have a super strong spark, I wouldn't see someone again in a friend
mm,
way. Yeah, this sounds like dating, but I do think like looking at all my friendships, like that it is like an instant, like really strong
mm.
connection, and that I
That's
just
good to
like
know about
know,
yourself.
yeah, that I just like know from the get go, like that we get on super well. Like I remember one of my friends who listens, I mentioned her before, Teresa, like we met at this event because I like
Hmm.
posted like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this museum. Does anyone want to come?" And like
Hmm.
10 people decided like messaged and said they wanted to come. And
Yeah.
when we were there, we just like hit it off instantly. And so yeah, I felt
Yeah.
like from then that we like would just develop a friendship. And I talked, with everyone and everyone was like amazing, and I made friends
Hmm.
with and keep up with honestly most of the people who went to that, but I feel
Hmm.
like we just had so much to talk about, and she also
Yeah.
spent time in the US, and so we just had so much in common. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do feel like it's like a an instant spark thing for me. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I've definitely had some slow burn friendships that have turned out great, but sometimes I meet someone and I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna be friends." Like for sure. There's just a chemistry. I mean, it really is like dating in so many ways. Like you just kind of speak the same language, not even referring to English, but it's like you have the same sense of humor
Yeah.
or, I'm of quite a sarcastic person and I can be really blunt, with my friends especially. And like, I like to really make fun of people. So if you're not okay with that, like, it's not going to work out basically. So you can usually tell within the first like hour or two of meeting someone if that's, going to jive well. But I think it's good to know this about yourself, like, oh, I usually have an initial spark with someone, because if you haven't found that yet, then maybe you just haven't met enough people, because honestly, it's just a numbers game at that point. Because why couldn't that happen at a one-off event? Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
it
literally, it
could.
would be perfect for those.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like it could happen anywhere, and I think that since I've also been privileged to have like an opportunity to make a lot of friends and a lot of people messaging me.
Hmm.
I think when I do have a really strong connection with someone from the get go, that's the friendship that I feel like I want to pour the most energy into.
Hmm.
Like I still do meet new people, but now I feel like I've moved in the secondary part of living abroad of like going
Hmm.
from meeting new people to like investing time in the friendships that I've made because I feel
Yeah.
like I have connected with some really amazing girls and I want to like rather than spreading myself too thin, put more time into those friendships that I already have. I also feel like I've always connected best with people who've had some sort of adversity in their life. Um
Oh, I
like
can I can talk about this. I can always tell when someone has like a dead parent or a dead
yeah.
sibling or something like that, because I agree that I like my strongest connections are definitely with people where it's like, oh, even if you don't discover it about them at first glance, like sometimes I've had friends where I don't know about it for months in, and then they'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, whatever happened when I was younger. I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense that we
Yeah, you just
connected.
have this like
Hmm.
mental understanding that like comes with having gone through something in
Hmm.
like your life. Yeah, I feel like it's such a thing and it is hard, yeah, when someone like hasn't had adversity because you feel like you see the world in kind of a different way. Not even in like a pessimistic way, but just
Yeah.
differently once you've gone through something and like it's hard to be friends with someone who hasn't experienced that yet because I don't know. It's hard to put into words, really, but I feel like a lot of people who've gone through adversity also share
Hmm.
the same sentiment of like most of their friends have had something in their life that have has been traumatic to them in some way,
Yeah.
or
And
another.
if
Whether
not,
it's
then they tend to be like a more emotionally what's the intelligent person. Like my friends that haven't,
yeah,
I mean, I have friends that I'm like, damn, they're lucky. It seems like everything's
yeah,
just gone their way in life, which I'm sure isn't true to the full extent, but they have an experience. Like when I have friends that have living, I mean, I know you have this, but like live all four living grandparents still, for example, could be one. And I'm just like, all of my grandparents have been dead for years. Like, not
yeah.
to say
That's
that that's a great
crazy.
adversity, but I just am like, wow, you haven't even lost a grandparent yet.
Grandparent,
Just
yeah,
wait till the wave of this hits you. So, on the other hand, I'm like, okay, even if you haven't experienced it now, like, it's coming. It's coming probably soon. And who knows how it'll change some of my, friends
yeah.
that
Because
have been luckier.
everyone does go through it eventually. Like
Hmm.
something really bad happens to you, whether it's someone dying or something else. But
Something
like
else. Yeah.
some people just get lucky and it doesn't happen until they're in their late 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
40s, even
Hmm.
maybe even later, like for their parents. Yeah, hopefully that would be later. But yeah, I think I'm definitely more of like an instant connection kind of person. And I mean, it
Hmm.
was the same with Mark. You know, we met and instantly we're like, we're gonna get married. So I guess I am just like a love at first sight kind of person.
That's funny. That was not for me in line bike. It was a
Yeah,
really
you had a
good first
slower
date,
burn.
but it was much more of a slow burn. And I think with my friends, like it's the same. I'm more of a slow burn girl. So yeah. Let's talk about planning your own events though. I mean, you have dabbled in it, but not to the same degree I have.
Yeah, so I'm a little interested in this, but I need to think about it more and I want to
Hmm.
see if there's a room. But let me just talk a little bit about the idea I have. And I want to hear
Great.
if any of our listeners would potentially be interested if they live in Prague. So
Yeah.
I posted on my story. Well, okay, let me preface that. I feel like a lot of events are either for locals or foreigners, and like they don't mix both. But I have such a
Okay.
mixture of girls who follow me, both Czech girls
Hmm.
and foreigner girls. And so I put in
Hmm.
my story, like, what if we had like a group where once a month we
Hmm.
meet up to discuss an issue, like women's rights. And for example, I was thinking like, no, not reading a book, but maybe like, and people could recommend different articles, watch a
Hmm.
few like a TED talk or a short video. Like
It's
we
like an
basically
old
have,
school cafe, coffee
yeah,
shop,
like
whatever
we
they called
have
it.
like, because I saw these things about, oh, I saw this TikTok. It was like, oh, my dad meets up with his friends and they'll have a topic to discuss. And I'm
Mm,
like, that is so fun
love
because
that.
I
Uh-huh.
love discussing and I love discussing women's things, political things, world issues. Like, and I feel like
Hmm.
I don't do that enough on my day to day life. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I do.
Yeah,
Me
you
and
just
Mark are talking
consume
about it all the
stuff.
time. Yeah, me and Mark are talking about political stuff all the time. But like, I
Hmm.
want like to talk about it with more women and have women's
Hmm.
perspectives. And I do talk about the stuff with my friends too. But I want like a dedicated time to sit down and talk about it. And there was so much interest. Like, I probably got
Oh,
like
love.
70 people responded, which was
Yeah.
crazy. But so I'm also though trying to. I have no idea how this works in terms of like getting a place. Like, do you have to
Mm.
pay to like get a place for like maybe 20 people, or can you just reserve
Hmm.
a room in a restaurant? I have no idea how this works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking maybe something like educated baddies in Prague, like something like that. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
intellectual baddies in Prague. I don't know if
Or would
baddies is
it
the
should
word
it
I'm
be
going to go
something
with,
about
but
like a topic, like monthly, like weave in like the
yeah,
kind of concept of it being
like
about a specific topic because I think that could draw in a lot of people. Because one thing I've learned about hosting these events is having a strong point of view is
okay.
helpful in terms of finding people speaking to a specific pain point for my events. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I honestly don't even like what it's called. It's called Londoners Against SAD, which stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder.
Mhm.
So basically, Londoners against how crap the winter is. And I think it's helped me reach people because it's such a clear statement. It's like we want to fight seasonal affective disorder through doing events. So maybe for you finding something, I mean, education topic, something like that, because oh, it could be like against not I don't know why I keep using against something about brain rot or like
Or
doom
like doom
scrolling,
scrolling,
like
yeah.
anti-doom scrolling, like actually talking about something because having that unique offering makes it so much easier to attract people beyond just your audience that you have right now. I think it could be something that opens your audience even more and gets even more people
Yeah,
to
we'll
like in real
definitely
life
need to
things.
discuss this. But yeah, like I want something that's pretty hyper specific because there are already
Hmm.
a lot of social groups. And that's why
Exactly.
I
So
wanted something
that's
that is really
mhm.
specific to like this particular. And maybe, one day we would have like event, like maybe it could grow, but I feel like I'm always going to want it
Start with something
tied.
specific.
Yeah, tied to
Definitely.
this women coming together to
Hmm.
be in person with no phones and like discuss a topic that's going on in the
Such a
world.
good idea. You should definitely do it. I can already imagine it going so well. And that, I mean, having it be something like the what's salons, isn't that what it was called back in the day where like Ernest Hemingway and all those authors
Oh
would get
yeah,
together and,
yeah, it was like,
you
yeah,
know,
wasn't it Salon or something?
yeah.
Yeah, they'd come together and have some drinks and discuss. Here we can have coffee or someone could have a mimosa. It's up to y'all. But it's just what I feel so fulfilled mentally when I
Hmm.
speak about a topic like this. I always
Hmm.
have. And I just like
And there's
would
so
love to
many
hear.
topics you could cover.
Yeah,
It
right.
could
Like,
be
doesn't need to be just
political,
women's,
it could
like,
be about, cosmetic surgery, it could be about animal ethics, it could be
yeah,
like you could get
so many
really and
things.
then you could have it where before the event you send out some articles as
Pre
you mentioned.
reads,
This is a
yeah.
great idea and you have to do it.
Okay, I'm
Like
gonna do it.
it's
Except I want to say I did get one message that was like from a girl that was like, haha, definitely not that topic, but I'd love to meet up some other time. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're saying not that topic to women's rights, I don't want to meet up with you. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I was
I think you could
infuriated.
you could though with the topic get way more specific than women's rights.
Oh, for sure. I just put
Yeah.
that as an example, but she's like,
Okay.
definitely not this topic. Ha ha. Like, what do you mean? You
You're
don't
not
want
invited.
rights? You don't want rights as a woman? This topic is so controversial that you don't even want to discuss it. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, no, that was just one message. Like, I got like 70 mixed with Czech women and foreigner women. And so I felt like
Amazing.
excited about it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, we will need to talk about this because we also talked about the time it takes. You put so much time into
Yeah.
your events that it's like how I can't see having a high cost barrier ever
Hmm.
to this. So it's like, how
Hmm.
could we have a sponsor? Like, I don't know. Cause I feel like
Yeah,
I
okay.
will
Well,
need to
let
make
me
money
let
from it
me share
eventually.
how I've done it. So basically, I started recap for people that are like, what the fuck is Londoners Against that? I started hosting these events over a year ago because I did a video about getting out of the house on weeknights in London, yada yada. Initially, they were free events, and then I did my first ticketed event. All of my events have been pretty affordable, but as you can expect, doing anything in London is expensive. Everything costs money. You can't host an event that is inside without paying money, basically.
Hmm.
So that is definitely a barrier to entry. But all I did is I posted that one video and then I started a WhatsApp group and a ton of people joined. Like within the first day, 100 people joined. And so I started an Instagram as well and slowly but surely have gotten, I think I'm at almost 2,000 followers now on the Instagram. So that's been consistently growing, for the last year. And it's a niche community, but it's already like half of my, normal Instagram following practically because I'm offering such a concrete thing. It's like weeknight
Hmm.
events. That's basically what I offer. Weeknight events. Most of them are crafts, some of them aren't. And it's been a really great experience in terms of learning how to plan events. And so if you wanted to start, I suggest finding a unique point of view, starting an Instagram, start posting about it. Let's say you don't have a following at all and you want to start doing events. I think you can. I honestly don't think
Hmm.
you need a following, but you do need to be posting on social media because I don't know how else anyone would
People are gonna
find.
find you.
Yeah, so start an Instagram, start posting about it. And I would recommend maybe starting with free events,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you can
definitely.
eventually work your way into doing ticketed. And where you host them is up to you. I mean, obviously, a lot of people do like walk clubs, hot girl walk clubs. That's obviously a free experience, but if you want to host it inside somewhere, then money gets involved
Yeah.
sometimes.
So not always in Prague though. I know that like the book club, we would just
Mhm.
meet in a room in a restaurant and we're encouraged to like order
Yes,
some
so my
things.
next event that I'm doing actually finally, this pub reached out to me. I was like, oh my God, famous,
Wow, big
and
step.
said that they are happy to host events for no minimum spend is usually the issue in London is I've reached out to a ton of pubs asking if I could get their upstairs room and with the expectation that people will be buying drinks and possibly food
Yeah.
and they all have massive minimum spends because it's
Oof.
central London. They will
Yeah.
literally one time a pub told me they had a 1,500 pound
Oh my
minimum spend.
God.
I'm like, I'm sorry, 20 girls over the course of
Yeah.
2 hours are not going to be buying that much.
For two
So
hours. That's insane.
some of them were lower. Some of them it was like 300 pounds, but I don't want to risk it where it's like I do a free event at a pub and then I end up having to meet the minimum spend. For example, if,
Yeah.
people only bought 200 pounds worth and it was a minimum spend of 300. So
That's
I've
insane.
tried to avoid that.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
sure in Prague that's not the case.
It's I don't think it's the case as much, but yeah, I also think it would be hard to do anything ticketed if like with yours they're getting something out of it physically,
Hmm.
like a craft. Well, like
Yeah.
for mine if it's just a discussion and they're not like getting something physical, I feel like it would be harder. So I feel like
Great
something
idea.
like
Great idea. Wait, wait.
sponsors.
I have a good
Yes.
idea though. So there's actually something in London I haven't been to before, but it's called Pints of Knowledge. And they are
Ooh.
speaker series at pubs where the organizer finds these fascinating experts and they give literally a lecture at a pub. And so they're ticketed. So it's like 15 pounds to come to this pub and get lectured by an expert on EU politics of, Russia, Ukraine, whatever. And it's like you go to this pub and you literally get a university style lecture, but it's for adults that are out of school. That could totally tie into that theme.
Wait, that would be so great because
So
I
don't,
love things like
yeah,
that. I rarely go
don't
to
stop
them, but
yourself. Like it could start at just being an events where you talk, but you can definitely, I think any sort of events, I didn't think mine were going to be ticketed at all. I just started
yeah.
being like, we'll just meet up, walk around. So I don't think you need to have the answer now as
Hmm.
to if you could monetize it, but I'm sure you could find a way. And anyone that's, listening, thinking of an idea that you're like, no way could I ever make money, you definitely could. Also, obviously, your goal does not have to be to make money, but it is a big time
Yeah,
commitment, as I've
yeah,
discussed.
yeah. I think it's like just balancing that, and I think like
Hmm.
we talked about this in a future previous episode, but so many social community building is done by women, and like that's why
Hmm.
it's like an industry that is like
Yeah.
less monetized or monetizable,
Hmm.
and it's like I think that there is like a big gap there. But yeah, I know we have a lot of listeners who do live in Prague. So please DM me or let me know in
Yes.
the comments if this is
Hmm.
something that you would want to attend. And I would love for it to be like the same. Some people come every month, but also people can filter in and out, like kind of a mix of both,
Yes.
like
That's great.
how we fill the spots. But yeah, should we release our big
Oh,
announcement?
exciting
Speaking
announcement, you
of,
guys. So we decided to do this topic not randomly at all because we have been
mic
thinking about
drop.
how we can get our poo-poers to come together, share resources, get friendly, ask questions because you guys are a wealth of knowledge. It's not just us. I'm sure all of our listeners also have a wealth of knowledge. So, very exciting. We're launching a Facebook group for you guys all to join. What's it called, Taylor?
It is called Your Dream Life Abroad by Packing Up and Piecing Out. It's going to be full of real conversations, honest questions, and support without competition of all stages of your move abroad journey. So, whether you haven't even moved abroad yet and it's
Hmm.
just something you're dreaming of, or you've lived
Hmm.
abroad for 10, 20 years, this is
Hmm.
going to be the space where we bring like minded people together that are part of our community. And also, we'll have like a weekly discussion thread for the episodes so we can continue to talk about the topics that we discuss. But it's also going to be open so people can post their questions and other people can contribute. Because, like Lily said, Lily has moved to 3 countries. I've only moved to one. So I'm definitely not a move abroad expert in that way. So I want to, you know, make sure that all people in our group can share their
Hmm.
expertise. That's really what we want from this group. And you can find the link in the episode description. We're also going to be posting it all over social media. It'll definitely be in our
Hmm.
link tree or our link in bio. I forget what we currently have. I need to check that out. But yes, the Facebook page is live. So
Hmm.
please join it. And we'd be so excited to have you.
Yes, and it was funny. My friend Anna, who is a loyal listener, shout out to Anna and her wife Flavi. They listen every week. She
Aw,
literally sent
thanks,
me a
Anna.
long voice note saying, I just had so many opinions on last week's episode that I wanted to share with you. I wish that there was a way for like me to respond to all your episodes. So to Anna and Flavi, this is your way. We're going to be posting every week when the episode drops, giving prompts, being like, what did you guys think
Mm-hmm.
of this? What are your suggestions for this? Were we wrong about? So if you're listening to the episode and you're like, oh my God, I have such a strong opinion about, using social media as a way to make friends, like maybe you think it's terrible and it hasn't worked out for you, then you can head over to our Facebook group and be like, this worked for me, this didn't. Also, when you are living abroad in a city, you can say, "Hey, I live here. Does anyone else?" If you're living in Madrid, say, "I live in Madrid. Does anyone else live in Madrid?" And
Yeah,
maybe you'll
great
make a
way.
friend that way. Because if you both listen to Pupo, you probably will get along.
Yeah, you'll have things in common, you'll be have similarities, you'll have a
Hmm.
similar mindset. So that's really what we're looking for, and we're super excited about this step because we have so many ideas and plans for this year and just how we want to keep growing this community. So thank you all so
Hmm.
much. And we do mostly have female listeners, but this group is open to people of any gender, so men, anyone that goes by any pronouns, please feel free to join the Facebook group because this is a place for you. It's not just for girls abroad, it's for
Mm-mm.
everyone.
True, because there are so many amazing Facebook groups, but a lot of them are for the gals. So we were trying to be more open because, yeah, that's just what we decided. So we
Yeah, and
landed
we
on
do
Your
have
Dream
some
Life
male
Abroad.
listeners. So, yeah, we do have some male
That's true.
listeners.
Hmm.
We've had I th-
And we love
we've
you.
yeah, we love you guys just as much.
We love you, Guy. There's probably one.
Yeah, there's probably one. Okay, well, let's jump into our segment and then wrap things up. This week for our segment, we're going to do Missing on the Menu, our favorite segment, my favorite segment. And mine this week is going to be NyQuil. Yeah,
This does not count,
yeah,
might
it
I say.
does. It does. Because it's something you consume. Yes, it's medicine and it's not food,
Do you not
but
have something that you used to eat when you were sick or drink when you were sick that you miss?
no.
Oh,
No.
really? Okay, because I
Not
do.
really. Like I feel like when
Oh.
I'm sick I don't have much of an appetite. Like I'm skinny this week because I haven't been like
What
eating at
about
all.
did you or drink? My mom would make me Hawaiian punch mixed with Sprite.
Ooh, that
Anyone
sounds
else?
good.
Anyone? I'm sure, yeah, you can go to the Facebook group and let
Anyone?
me know. Did you? Did your mom make you Hawaiian punch mixed with Sprite when you were sick? I don't know why. She said because of the vitamin C. I'm sorry, Hawaiian punch is just straight sugar. There's no
And maybe
vitamin C in there.
the carbonation would like kind of help. No,
Yeah.
mine's NyQuil, but one of my mutuals on Instagram, she did give me some NyQuil that she had from America. So that made me sleep
Ooh,
so
the good
much better last
stuff.
night. I got the good stuff because maybe they don't have like an equivalent here because obviously, well, the capsules don't have alcohol. I had capsules, but like the bottle of it actually contains 10% alcohol. So I
Yeah.
don't think they like have something that's equivalent here. Maybe not as good. So yeah, my missing on the menu is NyQuil, and I slept like a baby last night, and I feel like that is why I'm finally feeling on the up today. So yes, NyQuil, 10 out of 10.
Sorry. Okay, mine is actually, I think I've said this one before, so okay, I was initially gonna say bagels, but I'm gonna switch it up because I think I've said bagels before. I am going to go to fun drinks generally. I went to the grocery store yesterday here, really in the mood for just a fun drink. There are no fun drinks in this country. It's
Yeah,
just
no.
Sprite and Diet Coke and like iced
Iced
tea.
tea.
No, I want some weird ass drink with I want to go to the Whole Foods and see an entire aisle full of colorful cans of things to pick out. I'll pick something out. I'll spend, $2.50 on a can for it. And I'll leave the store and I'll be like, huh, this isn't that good. But it was an experience of like
I
selecting which
know.
weird ass drink that I want.
All my friends have been talking about the Shirley Temple
Oh,
Poppy
I
or
love a Shirley
Olipop,
Temple.
but
Okay.
like Olipop or Poppy came out with a Shirley
Uh-huh.
Temple flavor, and it's been flying off the shelves. And I'm just like, yeah, I won't be
Mm-mm.
having that because I can't get that here. But yeah, I so agree with you on that. Like going in and picking out like a disgusting like cookie crumble sugar cookie mix like
Oh
soda,
yeah, or
like
like the cold brews or the soda. There was just I mean, any drink you can even imagine under the sun, a Whole Foods has twice as many as that, pretty
ugh,
much.
I know I miss fun drinks too. I just drink
For
water
sure.
now.
I know it's just
It's
freaking
so
water, tea, and
sad.
coffee. It's so sad. But yeah, those are our missing on the menus. Thank you everyone so much for listening. Please go on over and join our Facebook group. We can't wait to see you all there, and we will catch you next week.
Bye. Thanks for listening. That's all for this episode of Packing Up and Piecing Out.
If you liked it, hit subscribe, follow us at Pack Up, Peace Out, and leave us a review. It helps more packers up and piecers out find us.
And for more of our unfiltered takes on life abroad, follow me at Taylor Takes Prague.
And me at A Rich Woman's World. We'll see you at the airport.